Hi guys, we're so excited. Week 4 of the We See Photography Challenge, our final week. How are you feeling?
Uh,
Come on, you haven't said one word this entire challenge. You excited for this week?
yeah.
I'm excited. And we've had so much fun this month taking these photos, seeing your photos, all of it, and talking with our amazing photographers. Speaking of amazing photographers, today we have fellow ESU alum. 3 out of 4 of our photographers were ESU alum, which is very exciting. We're so excited that she's here with us today. So I introduce to you Anja Whitehead.
Hi, everybody.
You want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Obviously, like you said, my name is Anja Whitehead. Graduated from East Stroudsburg University in 2018 with a digital media and technologies background. Photography was one of my focuses, and out of photography and television. So those were my two main things. And though I've kind of strayed to the television side of things right now for my career, I've always fallen back on photography, and it's something that I still try to do once a week, once a month, as much as possible, and really get out there and take those pictures. And besides all of that, I love to travel, hang out with my cat, and be outside in nature a lot too.
We love Gatsby, which is her cat. So, do you want to tell us, how did you get started in photography?
So this is actually a fun question for me. It's something that I never really got started with. It was something that's always just been in my life. So I started I started when I was very little. I remember being at my grandma's house with a point and shoot camera, and just literally being outside taking pictures of everything. And then my mom took a photography class over the summer once, just for fun. And she was really looking at my pictures the one day, and she was like, wow, these are really good. And it was just something that I kept doing. And then when I was in high school, I realized I kind of wanted to make this more of a serious thing. And so that's when I went out and I bought a DSLR camera and really made it a more serious thing for myself, and started taking pictures for people and actually trying to make money with it, which was awesome.
So, if you had to pick one kind of photography that's your favorite, what would it be?
When I think about my favorite photography, I typically fall back on portrait photography. And I think that's just mostly because I'm an outgoing person and I love being around people. And I love capturing people's expressions the most. My favorite is candid moments with people, because capturing those raw moments is just so beautiful. And capturing them outside is absolutely my favorite, because outside lighting is just always the best, and I can never get enough of it.
That's so great. And we had last week capturing candid moments, and the week before that was portraits, so it's all kind of coming together now. And for our very last week of the We See Photography Challenge, it's the last week of May. We're starting to see some nice weather. The summer is almost here. So, for the last week, Anya, do you want to tell us what the challenge is?
Nature photography.
Yeah. So this week we are challenging you to go out there and capture some nature photography. And here in the Poconos, how much better of a position could you be in? We have so much beautiful surroundings. You could literally walk outside your door and see something gorgeous and take a picture. So what are your tips for Brad and I to taking some nature photography?
So for tips, they're going to be a little I guess obscure tips, because this is something that I find to just be one of those things where you go out and you just take those pictures that really capture what you see. So when I go out and I do nature photography, I really love to do macro photography with nature. So I like to get really, really up close and personal with the nature. I like to go out and get really close to the flowers and show it blooming. And I like to go out and I see the trees blooming, so I get those buds really up close. So the one thing that you have to do with that is you have to make sure that you're really looking. So you have to make sure that your eyes are open and you're not just seeing the big picture, but really zoom in and see those small things. The second thing I would like to tell people is to be patient, because nature is unpredictable, just like life. You never know what's going to happen. So you never know when you're going to see a deer run across the field. You never know when the sun's going to hit that lighting just perfect. And so you have to really go out, take your time, sit in a field, sit in the woods, and wait and see what happens. Because sometimes when you just sit there, you're going to find a moment that you wouldn't have seen if you didn't just take a moment to pause. And so the third, one of the things that I like to do is waterfall photography. I love waterfalls, and so you have to play with your shutter, and you have to really get to make sure that you can get that nice like flow. You really have to play with your shutter. So I guess again, I'm going to go back to being patient because that's something that takes a lot of time. Like I remember recently I was sitting out at a waterfall trying to capture the beauty of it, and I was probably sitting there for like 20 minutes like playing with my shutter trying to make it look perfect. So really being patient and keeping your eyes open are probably my two biggest tips for people, because you never know what you're going to see when you're out in nature, and you really want to make sure that you're seeing it for what it is and not just the big picture.
Those were all so great, and I think they kind of tie in with the rest of our themes this month. You know, an everyday object. Nature is every day. It's out there. A portrait. We learned about focusing and finding your focus. Last week we talked about capturing a moment, and what could be more momentful than, you know, a fox running by or baby bunnies or whatever else, you know, nature has out there. So I think that kind of tied it all together so beautifully. Thank you so much, Anja. We were really able to kind of take this last challenge and use everything we've learned so far this month.
Yeah, of course. You know, like you said, it's springtime and it's about to be summer. So, you know, those animals are going to be running around, and this is the time where you're going to be able to really capture those animals if that's really what you're looking for. So, you know, I think this is the perfect opportunity. Make it your last week, making it nature photography, because this is the time where you're going to really see nature in full bloom, whether that's the flowers on the ground or the animals running around. You'll really be able to capture it right now.
So, if anybody was interested in seeing more of your work, maybe being inspired by your work, or just getting in contact with you, what is the best way to do that?
So the best way for people to reach out to me is probably my Facebook page is the easiest way. And the title that you can look up is just Capturing Life Photography, which is really easy to remember because we're talking about nature photography.
That's so great. And that link will be in the description. So if you don't feel like searching it yourself, you can go ahead and click that. And thank you so much for coming on and telling us these tips and closing out our challenge.
Oh yeah, of course. I'm so excited and I'm happy for the opportunity. So thank you guys so much for having me and letting me talk about my work.
So if you take a photo of nature this week, please either post it in the event page or use the hashtag #WeSeePhotographyChallenge on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, wherever your heart desires. And we're so excited to see what you come up with. So until next time, bye!